in the day, we had no clue. Tomorrow was waiting for me and you. Stories unfold like a time travel view. Then, now, and you. That's the groove. Past is the present in every move. Tune in, listen, it's all brand new. Then, now, and you. That's the groove.
Welcome back to Then, Now, and You. I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of those episodes that makes you go, wait, what the hell? You ever stop and think about the weird little things we use every single day, like forks, toilets, coffee, jeans, and go, how the hell did these even become normal? Because, fun fact, at some point in history, all of those things were either controversial, cursed, or flat out banned. Like, people legit thought forks were the devil's pitchfork, toilets were royal luxuries no one wanted to use, coffee was Satan's brew, and jeans were once the ultimate symbol of teenage rebellion. And joining me to break this all down, and he's back for round two, is historian, author, and professional deep dive into weird shit guy, Dr. Richard Bennett. Richard, welcome back, man. Always a pleasure. I love that intro. I don't think professional deep dive into weird shit guy is on my business card, but maybe it should be. It should be. That would sell more books, for sure. So listen, the last time you were here, people loved the way you made history actually, fun, which, let's be real, not every historian can pull that off. So today, I want to drag you into the land of everyday objects, the boring stuff we don't even think about. But back in the day, these things were scandalous. And I figured, who better to guide us through the madness than you? I love it. And you're right. History isn't just wars and kings and revolutions. Sometimes it's, well, forks and toilets. Exactly. So let's just dive in. Let's start with forks. Like, why the hell would anyone hate forks?
They're just forks. Yeah, so this one is fun. Forks, the humble utensil, were actually pretty controversial in Europe for centuries. They were seen as unnatural, even sinful. The earliest forks we know about go back to the Byzantine Empire around the 11th century. Wealthy families used them, especially for messy foods. But when the idea spread westward into Italy, church leaders lost their minds. They literally said forks were the insult to God. Wait, hold up. An insult to God for using a fork? Yes, the argument was basically, God gave us fingers. Why would we need artificial prongs to do his job? That is wild. So they were like, if God wanted us to eat spaghetti, he would have given us chopsticks. Something like that. In fact, in 1004, there's this famous case of a Byzantine princess who married into the Italian nobility. She used a golden fork at a banquet, and the clergy condemned her for it. When she died young, people said it was God's punishment for her fork-using arrogance.
Jesus Christ. Imagine being roasted by a priest for table manners. So how long did it take before forks became normal?
Not until the 17th and 18th centuries. Catherine de' Medici, when she married into French royalty, helped normalize it. But even then, English travelers mocked Italians for using forks. It wasn't until the Enlightenment, when manners, etiquette, and refinement became fashionable, that forks became standard.
So basically, for hundreds of years, eating with a fork meant you were either a rich snob or a Satanist. Pretty much, yes. And now, if you eat with your hands at Olive Garden, you're the weirdo. I love it. All right, let's get into the real shit. Literally. Toilets. Now, I'm going to be honest, when I picture ancient toilets, I'm just seeing like holes in the ground, but I'm guessing it's way weirder than that, right? It is. The Romans
had some of the most advanced public toilets in history. They had stone benches with keyhole-shaped openings lined up in rows, no partitions. So you'd sit shoulder to shoulder with other people doing your business.
Oh my God, so it was like the world's worst team building exercise.
Exactly. And instead of toilet paper, they used a sponge on a stick, shared by everyone.
That is so much worse.
Hey, Steve, pass me the ass sponge.
Yep. And when Rome fell, Europe basically lost advanced sanitation for centuries. Most people reverted to chamber pots, which they dump into the street. Cities were disgusting, open sewage, disease everywhere.
So when does the modern toilet show up?
The first real flushing toilet we know about was invented in the 16th century by Sir John Harrington, who installed one for his godmother, Queen Elizabeth I. But she hated the noise and smell, so she refused to use it.
That's hilarious. The queen was like, yeah, thanks for the shitter, but I'll stick with my bucket.
Exactly. It wasn't until the 19th century, with better plumbing and sewage systems, that toilets became practical. And even then, a lot of people resisted. There were genuine debates about whether indoor toilets were safe.
That blows my mind. Imagine arguing about whether having a toilet inside the house was dangerous. Like, oh no, what if the toilet fumes sneak into the bedroom?
That was exactly the fear. But eventually, convenience won out, and now we can't imagine life without them.
And thank God, because I'm not sharing a sponge stick with anyone. Okay, now this one I love. Coffee. I cannot survive without it, but apparently it was almost banned.
Yes, coffee originated in Ethiopia and spread through the Islamic world in the 15th century. When it reached Europe in the 1600s, people were suspicious. They called it the bitter invention of Satan.
I mean, they're not wrong. It is bitter. That's why God invented cream and sugar.
It's true. But the controversy wasn't just about taste. Coffee houses became popular meeting places, and governments feared political unrest. They thought people gathering over coffee were plotting revolutions.
So basically, Starbucks was the original rebel headquarters.
In a sense, yes. In England, King Charles II even tried to shut down coffee houses in 1675 because he thought they bred sedition.
Holy shit. That's wild.
And in Italy, some priests wanted coffee banned as unholy, but Pope Clement VIII tried it, liked it, and said, "This devil's drink is so delicious, it would be a sin to let only the infidels enjoy it."
That is the most Catholic thing ever. It's from Satan, but damn, it slaps.
Exactly. And from that moment on, coffee spread like wildfire. It fueled intellectual movements like the Enlightenment. Voltaire supposedly drank 50 cups a day.
50 cups? Jesus.
That man was vibrating through dimensions.
Probably, but coffee really did change society. It replaced alcohol as the common social drink. Instead of beer for breakfast, people started having coffee, and suddenly productivity went up.
So coffee basically built modern civilization. Damn. All right, let's bring it home with jeans. Now, I love a good pair of jeans, but I cannot imagine anyone giving a shit about them historically.
Oh, but they did. Jeans have a fascinating history. They were invented in the 1870s by Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis as durable pants for miners and laborers during the gold rush.
So basically work pants.
Yes, and for decades, they were strictly working-class clothes. Cowboys, miners, farmers. It wasn't until the 1950s that jeans took on a rebellious edge, thanks to Hollywood stars like James Dean and Marlon Brando. Rebel without a cause, right? The OG bad boy uniform? Exactly. Teenagers wore jeans as a statement against authority. Schools banned them. Some restaurants had no jeans policies. Wearing jeans was basically saying, I don't care about your rules.
That's hilarious. My high school banned hats, and we thought we were
Repress. These kids were banned for denim.
Yes, and then by the 1970s and 80s, jeans became mainstream fashion. Designers started selling expensive versions. Suddenly, the symbol of rebellion was being sold back to the middle class for profit.
Capitalism strikes again.
Exactly. And today, jeans are everywhere, from cheap workwear to $1,000 runway pieces. It's a perfect example of how something practical became cultural, then commercial.
So basically, miners to rebels to Kardashians.
Quite the journey.
That sums it up perfectly. Man, I love this. Forks were satanic, toilets were scary, coffee was banned, and jeans were illegal teenage rebellion. And now, they're all just Tuesday. Richard, thanks for coming back and dropping knowledge bombs again. Always a pleasure. All right, folks, that's our show. If you dug this episode, hit like, comment, and subscribe. And hey, if you're new here, there's a link in the description where you can binge all the past episodes, from embarrassing history to secret societies to weight loss madness. Thanks for listening to Then, Now, and You. I'm your host, reminding you, never take your fork for granted.